loves a good robot, right? And silence. You're cold. You're like, two. I've lost you. But we're going to get you back because we have in the house Boston Dynamics, Marc Raibert, and our moderator, Darrell Etherington. Big round of applause.
Hi, Marc.
Hey, Darrell, how you doing?
Good. Welcome to London.
Thanks, good to be here.
Yeah. So let's get a little bit of background first on Boston Dynamics. I know you guys are 26 years old now. You've been
Yeah,
around for a
we're
while.
old guys.
Yeah, it is. I mean, in this community, probably older than a lot of the companies here, I'm sure tonight.
Yeah.
But can you give us a bit of a background of how you guys got started and what it was that you started? What kind of idea you wanted to
Sure.
build?
You know, we're a spin-off. I was at MIT before the company started, and we'd been building robots there and wanted to see if we could do it as a company instead. But our mission has always been the same, which is to build machines that can do what people and animals do. And by that I mean mobility, getting around in the world, dexterity, being able to use our hands, and perception, the fact that we can look and understand what's going on around us.
So is it mostly then focused on like environment manipulation, you would say, or like environment negotiation? Like all of those seem to cluster around that, rather than say like building a human that can, I don't know, cook or like give a speech or something like that, right?
Well, you know, in the long run, we'd like to be able to make robots that can do all those things. Anything that you or I could do, we'd like the robots to do. Right now, we started out focusing on mobility, making robots that can go anywhere. And here, why don't we show the first video and I'll talk over it.
Sure.
This shows some robots that were designed to travel out in the unstructured world. This is Big Dog. This was the first robot that Boston Dynamics built. And you know, a key idea is that it moves and balances itself actively. It has an inertial sensing system. It has sensors in the legs, and it can tell what's going on. And then it has programming that lets it respond to the environment.
And just if I can interrupt, what is your thinking when you have, because you often have this where a technician or someone comes in and kind of really aggressively shoves or pushes or whatever the robot. Like, I know that some people have said like, oh, it looks like you're being cruel to robots, which I think that's kind of silly. It's a robot, right? But
yeah, we're not being mean. First of all, the robots.
But if you have somebody doing that to like a refrigerator or an inanimate object, it's weird, right? So why did you choose to do that as a way to showcase your capabilities?
I mean, we're like proud parents trying to show off the capabilities of our robots. And you can't see as much if they're just walking around. If we're interfering with them, you'll see some interfering coming up later.
But that's troubling too, though, because imagine proud parents of a human child using this as a way to demonstrate, right?
Yeah, I have a tape of my daughter like that.
Okay.
But whatever. I wanted to point out here the robot is going to people's homes, and we're kind of exploring the idea of doing deliveries instead of using drones. Maybe you can do it with just plain old legged robots.
So this would be, actually there's like another company, a European company, Starship Technologies, that is doing that with sort of wheeled robots.
They are.
But you think this might be the better option just because of the ability to negotiate stairs?
You can go up curbs and stairs. Here's an example of, again, being proud parents and wanting to show that the robot has enough autonomy, enough dexterity, and the ability to plan that even though we're interfering what it's trying to do, it can replan, keep its balance when it's disturbed and things like that. And here's yet another example where the robot's been told to pick up the box. There's nobody else helping it along, and it's using a vision system to see the box and to see the markers on it, to plan a path to it, to grasp it, and then our engineer there is interfering with it.
This is maybe a weird question, but is it aware that there's interference, like intentional interference, or does it?
It knows that it doesn't have the box when it's supposed to,
right.
So it figures out, okay, I have to find the box, and it looks around, it finds the box, and it goes ahead and gets it. This past summer, we decided to go take Atlas. This is called the Atlas robot. It's about the same height as me and the same weight. We took it out to a ski lodge in order to test its ability to go on new kinds of stairways. Here it's navigating through the bar by itself with its vision system.
Is that like its wait staff capability?
That's its wait staff.
Yeah.
I took out some of the it's staggering back to its room after the trip to the bar. And there we're doing a little bit of cooperative interaction between the robot and the world.
Nice. So you talked about how the intent has always been the same. Has that changed at all? Because I think when Google acquired, they said specifically you guys are winding down your contractor work for the government. So that, like something like that looks clearly aimed at government contract work, like building a rescue bot or whatever. Has that changed at all, the way that you approach the work?
You know, I think the fundamental technical abilities that the robots need to have are exactly the same, whether the application is defense, it's emergency rescue, if it were, you know, we recently visited Fukushima with the idea of being able to send the robots into some dangerous places there, but also for more commercial things. If you want to go to people's homes to deliver packages, you have to deal with rough terrain and unknown environment. And so the technology, vision, controls, mechanical design, they're all the same, independent of what the applications are.
So with that though, like there's an added layer maybe. So if you're dealing with those kinds of situations where I think that the function is kind of prioritized, right? Like if you're in an IAD situation, you don't really care that much about the human interaction with the robot. So is that an issue? Like if you're doing home delivery, that's a big issue. A person receiving a package cannot feel unnerved by the robot, right? So has that changed your thinking?
Well, it is true that you develop technology that's general purpose, and then for every application, you need to customize the robot to deal with it. So for instance, we've learned lately as we look at getting up stairways to people's homes, you'll see coming up, we also do some work inside a home-like space and inside offices, that the subtleties of the solutions are different for that than they are out in the woods where all you have is trees and mud and leaves. And you know, we are developing algorithms that are more suited to these other things as we go. So I think, you know, our goal is to build up the capability that's applicable to a broad range of things, and we're starting to look at specific applications, and then we'll tune the systems and the designs up for those.
But you'll be handling the tuning. So just like in terms of where you guys sit in the stack or as a company, like are you envisioning yourself as a supplier to people who do those refinements, or do you do those refinements?
It's a great question. We have done a lot of thinking lately about making a platform that app developers could work on, but it takes, you know, getting things abstracted enough so that you know, like a phone app developer would have the right skills. It might be a leap. So we don't know how much we'll be working with app developers. The current plan is probably to work with them pretty closely, probably to develop some reference apps ourselves, where we do the whole implementation and then see how far we can broaden things out.
Does that require bringing on a lot of new talent? Because it seems like that UX level or something is not something you guys were specifically focused on before.
I think that the other thing we're starting to think about is cost reduction of the robots. You know, the robots that were in the video are pretty expensive still, and we're interested in seeing if we can get the cost down from prototype type costs to product type costs, and that's a place where we're starting to reassign some of our talent, maybe find some new talent and outside talent. Why don't we roll the other video and you'll see this is a robot that we're interested in possibly cost reducing. Do we roll the second? So some of this is on YouTube, but some of it's new. This is Spot Mini, a robot that weighs about half as much as the previous Spot robot. So it weighs about 60 pounds. For people in metric, it's about 28 kilo. It's got an arm. This isn't a real house, and those aren't real people. Those are just engineers that we used. And this is a house we built inside of a warehouse so we can do testing of the robot. There it used its arm to get back up after it had fallen down. Someone left the banana peels out. One of the important capabilities for these robots is to be able to do stairways, both up and down. And again, I showed you, here's the proud parents learning more about the capability of the robot by disturbing it and making sure that it can handle that. Here the vision system is being used with a bunch of advanced optimization and planning to be able to adjust the footsteps to stay on the terrain. And here's a sort of a more real world use of that kind of a capability.
So here you seem to be approaching more like a consumer use case, right, of what people might do. Are you guys thinking about like independent mobility, like through That's a big
Let me just
concern.
point out here, here's, animal inspiration sometimes plays a role in our robot. That was an ordinary chicken that can stabilize its head, and we can stabilize our hands, and we thought that giving Spot the ability to do that would really enhance its ability to manipulate things in the world. And of course, if you had a robot like this, not only would you want it to be able to clean up, but you'd like to be able to go send it to fetch a beer.
Yeah.
So that's actually not a beer, it's a soda. Unfortunately, it fetched the beer okay, but we hadn't
They wanted to hang on
properly told it to let go.
Pretty good. Yeah, is that something you're actively thinking about? Like oh, it's right here. Okay.
So
Here's the robot.
this is that robot that was just in the video, and this is Seth Davis, our head of field ops, and he's going to demo a little bit of the robot.
Seth is using an Xbox controller to do this?
He's got an Xbox controller. The computer that Seth's carrying is just communicating. Everything, all the control for the robot is on board. It's got sort of the equivalent of 3 laptop computers, one of which is used to do all the motion and 2 of which are used to do vision. It's got a stereo camera and another camera in its hand. You can see, if you look in there, you see there's a dark spot in the crotch of the hand, and that's a camera.
Does this one use LiDAR? You had a LiDAR,
It has a place for LiDAR. We don't have it here today. So this robot is very graceful in its transition between walking gaits. Here it's trotting. It's switched to a walk. That's a pacing gait. So if you know anything about animals, these are the gaits that animals normally use.
And that's what you've done all the gaits based on, is biomimicry, basically?
Basically. Although it has some gaits that you don't see in animals. You'll see them a little later. It can run. It's also kind of a show-off, so it can do a thing that you usually don't see animals do, which is to hop on just 2 of its legs and keep its balance. So the feet have to be very fast in order to balance in a demonstration like this. And a lot of the design starts with requirements for how fast the legs move, and then we work up. One of the cool things about this robot, so many of you have probably seen robots' arms that are fixed to a table, and they can only reach this much around them. But having an arm on a robot like this, where the body can contribute the way your bodies contribute to the motion of your arms, means that the range of reach is much greater, and therefore the things you can do with the robot are much greater than otherwise. Actually, for that demo, Seth was driving the hand rather than driving the robot, and he can tell it to go in a straight line. And I think we're going to do the chicken mode. Here we can stabilize the hand while the body moves, which is really useful in working on being able to handle objects where the location of the object in the room is what matters. In fact, I'm feeling a little thirsty. Spot, could you get me that can of whatever it is over there? Now, it's using the camera in its hand to find the can, localize it. It's having a little trouble with the lights, I would say, here, so
yeah,
it keeps looking. It didn't find it. I think Seth took over control there, if I understand right.
That's what I was going to ask, is how much is remote controlled directly and how much...
Normally this demo isn't remote controlled, but I think the bright lights screwed it up, and Seth did it. Okay. Thank you, Spot.
Oh, let go smoothly that time.
Okay.
Whoa. You got
Thanks, Spot.
Yeah, so is that a thing where you would see that operating in like a way to help people stay mobile longer and stay independent longer, like an elder care situation?
I think that's one of the biggest opportunities, both to help mankind. In the United States, about 15% of the population is over 65, and it's supposed to grow in 5 or 6 years to 18%. In the UK, it's something like 17% over 65, and in Japan, it's already over 20%. And in the United States, about 30 million people spend more than 20 hours a week helping an elderly person get around in their life. And I know those people are being good and they're bonded with their elderly, the person they're giving care to, but it's a burden. And I think
And not everyone has that either.
not everybody has that. I think if we had machines that could help, there's a lot of things that could be done.
And so we've talked a lot about strategy. Is the strategy something that is coming sort of like whole cloth from you guys, or is like Google influencing this as an owner?
I can't really speak much to the internals of how we work with Google. It's always been our goal to build up capabilities until there was enough so that we thought it was time to start productizing. And Spot Mini has a diversity of capability. Its mobility is very good, as good as any quadruped on Earth, any robot quadruped. It's not as good as animals. Right. Its manipulation skills are coming along. The vision's pretty good. So we're starting to turn the corner to think about how you'd make it into a product and find some narrower applications. And that's where we are.
But what about like horizon-wise? So you guys are now 26 years old, right? 25 years old. So that's the horizon for arriving at a point where you're starting to turn the corner. Like what can we think of, what kind of time scale can we think of in terms of that productization?
I can't give you a roadmap. I think you'll see products like this coming up soon.
But do you guys have a roadmap, a firm roadmap, or you don't have to tell us it? Just tell me if you have one.
We have the makings of a roadmap.
Okay. Yeah, like the business plan. Do you have a revenue idea about what kind of opportunity is there?
We do.
And you don't want to
There's
share
lots
it,
of opportunity. No, not yet.
All right.
Maybe next year.
What about with Google? Like there were rumors earlier that Google had thought about a sale and was looking into a sale. And one of the potential acquirers was actually Toyota. And Toyota has their TRI Research Institute, which I'm sure you're familiar with. They do a lot of robotics.
I went to their open house. They opened an office in Cambridge. We went down there last week.
Nice.
It's like a great space. It's interesting. Their office is the same space Boston Dynamics was in our very first office 25 years ago.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But they've built it out.
So they've shared geographic DNA, I guess. But is that something that you can comment on? Like, are they a potential
I've heard that
acquirer?
rumor, but I don't really have anything to offer about what the plans are.
Okay, and just also in the Boston space, actually, I recently got the chance to speak to iRobot about their work, iRobot CEO, and it's interesting. You guys had similar trajectories, right? But it seems like they always started out with sort of that productization in the back of the mind, and they started from a very different place about what they thought robots should be able to do in the home. Yeah. What do you think of their approach, and what do you think? Like, how does it compare to your approach?
I think they were much more. I'm inferring all this just from the outside, even though I know Colin from when he was a student at MIT when I was there. I think they were more committed to go right to product. With the Roomba. I think that their EOD robots, did a great service for the military during the Iraq and Afghanistan wars. And although now they've divested themselves of that into, I think it's Evolution Robotics. They were more interested in product. We were more interested in the long-term capability. And I think, I'm pleased with the progress we've been making towards advanced mobility, mobile manipulation, and perception.
Nice. Do you think that ever comes back together, like in the long?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that these capabilities that the robots have mean that you can apply them much more easily and do much more interesting things. If you look in the space of robots for the home now, they're pretty limited. They're mostly communication devices, right? They're like your iPad with FaceTime or whatever, or Hangouts, I guess I should be saying.
Or a speaker
Hangouts,
with no screen.
or whatever it is. And maybe there's some mobility to them, but basically they can't move in the world. And I think when we can move in the world, there's just going to be a vast set of things you can do. Someone recently told me, Google has had a massive impact on the world because they give you access to all the knowledge in the world. But if you're going to have robots in the world that can touch and change the physical world, the opportunities are even bigger.
Oh, that's true.
That was an exciting thought. That didn't come from me.
But you did mention the horizon. Like, is there runway enough to get to that place? Like, if surviving so long without productization is hard to do, right? It's hard to do. I mean, you're lucky in that Google has a lot of resources, and I mean, potentially other acquirers would have a lot of resources too. But contractors used to be a way to do that. Like, is it definitely possible that you'll be able to continue in your mission specifically?
I absolutely believe so. Yeah, there's no reason to be anything but optimistic.
All right. Great. Well, thanks, Mark.
Okay, thank
Appreciate
you.
coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Ah,
This way?
Yeah.